Hi everyone, welcome to FilmDirt. So here I am taking a look at this terrible film, Speed 2 Cruise Control. I saw this with a family friend, or in fact they forced me to watch it because they saw my previous review for the original Speed and they thought it was funny to insist that I watch this when I visited. So I'm kind of questioning how good of a friend they are if they're going to subject me to this. It really is a terrible film, and I did just revisit from start to finish, which is the second time I've ever seen it, and possibly the last ever. This sequel has absolutely nothing of what made the original so good, which is odd because you've got much of the same cast, much of the same crew, including the same director, but it's almost a sequel to a completely different film. Now, the original had that charm and it had that, when you just watch a film and everything just clicks and you can't look away because you're so invested. The original had that. And I used the word kinetic a lot in my previous review of that film, where it's just something always happening and you overcome one obstacle and there's another one and then there's another one in front of that and then it just keeps going. And each of those plot points are keeping you invested. You can watch something even if it seems unbelievable, if it's exciting to watch. And that's the job of the director, to make everything as exciting as possible. Nothing seems to happen for a considerable portion of the film. I think I looked at my watch, I think it was about 20 minutes in, and we're still on the cruise liner listening to UB40. Nothing's happened yet, and on 27 minutes, the main couple are still bickering about relationships and this and that. 27 minutes in, and still nothing's happened. This film is 2 hours, and if it was just a very brisk 90-minute film, that near half an hour intro to the film where nothing happens, that would have to go. You can mention in passing about the relationship or lack of, whatever you want to do to explain the main couple's backstory. You don't have to keep going on for this amount of time, and it really kills the film even before it starts. So with the original, I did mention that you want the main couple to start a relationship because they're so charming together and they went through a lot. And I also mentioned that we'd never really established whether that actually happened when they embraced at the end, and then it ended quite rightly. It was a good point to end the movie. But they make up for it in the sequel by explaining everything that happened. I think there was a passing mention of Jack Traven. I think it was during the driving test where they did date for a while, but they separated. Now she's with Alex, played by Patric. And as I just mentioned, 27 minutes into the film and we're still talking about it. And the character of Annie is starting to become really annoying. And you can see why Jack dumped her. If we need to lay it out on a plate like that. So Patric here, I'm not very familiar with his work, but he seems a very serviceable actor. I don't think the film's faults are necessarily his. It's just a very badly paced, very badly set out, badly scripted film. And there should have been someone overseeing this. And it just shows you that a lot of key people in key positions are not really aware of what's going on. And I often mention that in my Star Wars sequel reviews, where you've got such a big corporation like Disney who don't seem to be proofreading and supervising these scripts. And the films don't make sense. There should be someone just checking. I don't want people to be inhibited by what they're doing. Creative people are there to be creative. But sometimes you just need to rein certain things in. Having thought about it now, I think maybe it should have been a 90-minute film. Just get it over and done with and get the point across, and it would have been, well, if it was set up differently, it would have been more exciting. But really, I think this is such a bad sequel, and I think any amount of editing could have saved it. And even if Keanu Reeves was in this movie, I don't think he would have improved it or made it any more exciting. There's only so much you can do with a bad script that's already green-lit. However, I have to say, Willem Dafoe as the villain He's fantastic. I've always loved him and his films. You know, he's the greatest actor never to play the Joker, isn't he? And he kind of makes the villain character work here. And again, he's not the issue. He's doing what's asked of him. Maybe if his character was an ex-cop as well, just as in the first film, where Howard Payne was an ex-cop wronged by the system, maybe if Willem Dafoe's character was the same, there could have been maybe a running theme that those upstairs or the government board that oversees this should really look after their ex-service members. And also, let's also touch on a runaway cruise liner isn't really as exciting as a runaway bus, or a subway train for that matter, or an elevator about to plummet. So maybe it could have been more similar to the original film. It would have worked a hell of a lot better than what we got in the sequel. One thing I will add about keeping the energy up and maintaining the audience's interest is to keep the stakes high and show the gravity of the issue. The first film did that really well, and the music helped. You know, there was impending dread just before the main bus jump. But in this movie, there's a lot of intrusive comedy inserted into various scenes. You know, there's a mention of one of the entertainers not wearing underwear, and some out-of-place wisecracking here and there. It just all seemed to be in jest rather than a real life-or-death situation. I can only give this movie a 1 star. And even that's too much. What do we give a film like this? I had to endure this for 2 hours. But, you know, watching it with friends, I think it was actually quite a fun evening, and you know, we actually took the mickey out of it rather than becoming depressed, and a few drinks helped. It's probably the only way to watch this movie, or not watch it at all. So thanks again for joining me and talking about terrible films like this, which always makes me laugh. I promise I'll come back with a much better film next time. Like and subscribe, you know the drill. It was great talking to you. All the best. Take care.